Hello and welcome back to Coffee with Craig. In case you hadn't noticed, we took a little bit of a hiatus for a few days. We wanted to just take a few days and let the events of last weekend kind of settle in, and wanted to wait for all of the information to come in and see what was going on, what really happened. There's a tendency we all know in the media and for the gun grabbers to run out there and start spouting off information before they really have all the facts, before they really know what's going on. We decide, when there's incidents like this or when events like this occur, it's our decision, or it's our position that we want to make sure that we have all of the information. And rather than answering questions with answers that we don't know, with information that we don't have, with things that haven't even been revealed because, the investigation is still ongoing, our position is we want to take our time and make sure that we get you accurate information. Because we all know that, they don't know what they're talking about. They especially don't know what they're talking about when it comes to guns. In fact, one of the articles that came out, it was in the USA Today, and they decided they wanted to put something out talking about, why are AR-15s being used increasingly in mass shootings? Now, one of the things that's really important to note about this is that long guns, period, are used in a very small percentage overall of violent crime or of shootings, let alone AR-15s, which is a subset of long guns. But all of that we'll just leave all that alone. One of the things that was interesting was they decided that they were going to interview folks and kind of find out why AR-15s were so popular. And one of the things that was brought to their attention was the fact that AR-15s are basically customizable, which I think is one of the reasons why we all prefer to use or those of us who own AR-15s like AR-15s, because they are so easily customizable. But I think the USA Today, in their fervor to put information out there about exactly how customizable AR-15s are, they took it just a bit too far. Okay, so as you can see, there were a number of very, very common modifications, as noted there, that interestingly, none of them, with the exception of probably the trigger crank, would actually make the firearm fire faster. Although I'm still wondering how exactly you'd be accurate with that, but all that's a whole different story. But one thing that stood out in particular had to do with the chainsaw bayonet. Now, maybe it's just me, but if I'm encountering someone with an AR, I'm thinking I'm going to be a little bit more scared of the AR than I am of the chainsaw bayonet. But I'm just wondering, at what point did the USA Today say, we've got to make sure that we scare the mess out of these people. People are clearly not scared enough because we can't pass our gun control. I know what we'll do. We'll put a chainsaw on it. The only thing missing was Leatherface wielding this chainsaw AR-15, chasing after some young co-ed. That's the only thing that was particularly missing from this particular thing. And it's, it's no wonder that they have no credibility. And that's the thing, is that, mainstream media and the left wing, folks who are interested in nothing more than sensational headlines. I get frustrated because it's the same thing every time. It's an evil person does something, goes and injures or kills people using a firearm. Everyone is hurt. Everyone is dismayed. People offer prayers and all of these things and send their encouragement to those who are the victims and the families of the victims. And then out comes the left. They start, first of all, denigrating people who offer prayers because, for some reason, it's evil to offer prayers to somebody. It's evil to pray for somebody in their eyes. And then they demand action. Now, they don't know what action. They don't know how they propose legislation that has absolutely nothing to do with what it was that they said they wanted to stop, the tragedy that they said they wanted to stop. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. But that doesn't stop them from introducing or proposing or pushing the legislation. And they come out and they say all ignorant sorts of things. Like, for example, remember when they came out after the shooting that took place in Las Vegas? They came out and said, well, why we can't allow them to have silencers? It's hard. It was hard enough for them to find out where this guy was. Imagine if he had a silencer on his firearm. Not realizing that if you fire that many times, that fast, through a silencer, you're pretty much going to melt the thing. Why? Because they're ignorant. And folks, if you're watching this and you believe in gun control, let me just hip you to something. The word ignorant means you lack knowledge. And when you clearly lack knowledge about firearms, and then you say stupid things, you wonder why we call you ignorant. Yes, you are ignorant when it comes to firearms. And for many people out there, they're ignorant when it comes to firearms law. They have and then try and marry the two. Try and get someone who can talk about the intersection between firearms policy and firearms technology. I can pretty much guarantee you no one at USA Today has that knowledge or understanding. I can pretty much guarantee you that very, very, very few people in Congress, based on the legislation that they're proposing, very few people in Congress have that understanding. I know for a fact here in California, just about nobody, save probably one person that I know of, has that knowledge and understanding. Maybe two, but neither of them work for gun grabbers. The thing is that they're ignorant and that they offer legislation based on ignorance. And every time they open their mouth, they expose their ignorance. And then you wonder why we call you ignorant. That's because you are. Look, I'm told that as a man, I shouldn't have any say on anything when it comes to reproductive rights because, I can't have a baby, But yet someone who knows nothing about guns, doesn't own a gun, can't really tell you about anything relating to the technology of a firearm, yet they get to pass laws that will restrict my constitutional rights, my fundamental human right to be able to defend myself. So forgive me if I get offended when you propose a bill that I know isn't going to protect me, that I know is only going to do the exact opposite, that is potentially going to make me a victim. Because I'm going up against somebody who has a 30-round magazine and I only have 10. Because I'm going up against multiple assailants and I'm not able to have the safest weapon available. That's what you want from me. You want to make me a victim. Well, I'm sorry. My right to be safe is not, I'm sorry, my right to be safe supersedes your right to feel safe. Because no matter what you do, you're not going to feel safe. Because guess what? Criminals aren't going to obey your laws. They're not. And when they don't, you make victims out of everyone who does. So I have a choice, or average person has a choice. We can either potentially be victims and follow the law, or we can break the law and be in a position to be able to defend ourselves. Unfortunately, we may wind up having to do it in court. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's Coffee with Craig. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to please share these videos, share this information. Let folks know that this is a fight for civil rights. Got to use them or you're going to lose them.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.